So this is where we started. It was overexposed. And then I create what I call a baseline, which is just a very neutral edit with accurate colors and not a lot of dynamic range, not too bright, not too dark. And then in Photoshop, this is where the fine detail work happens. And this is what we're going to be working on tonight. So I did the cooking show thing, and I went ahead and took care of some stuff before I started the stream. This is where I started. And if you flip back and forth, you can see I did a lot of cleanup work. I guess the day I took this picture, I was not having a good day. I didn't comb my hair. My skin was a mess. My eyebrows were raggedy. So I went ahead and cleaned all that up. I straightened my beard a little. And if we brighten things up a bit, you can oops. Like I had a bunch of Otis dust on me. This was taken back in 2014, so cleaned all that up. And if you're curious, just the process of cleaning up, it's pretty boring. You create a new layer, blank layer, and I mostly use the remove tool, which is a newer tool for Photoshop. It's like the healing brush, like the clone stamp, but it has two modes. There's the algorithm mode, which is done on your computer, and then it also has an AI mode, which uses cloud computing to get a more robust result. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. You kind of have to learn like which mode is best for what you're removing. The general rule of thumb is if you're trying to remove a big section of the photo, then you use the AI mode. And if you're just removing like a little zit like that, then you just, it didn't even, then you just use the non-AI, and it's faster to do that. And you can choose between auto, which lets Photoshop choose which is best, and then you've got the AI on and AI off. So the way I typically go about it is I go through and I paint everything that I want to remove. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just to show you what I did earlier. And then once I've painted everything that I want to remove, then I'll hit the check mark up here and commit the changes. And the reason I do it that way is because if you do it remove after each stroke, which is, paint and then it does it, if you do it that way, it takes 1 or 2 seconds. But if you can imagine, you've got to zap 100 blemishes or something, and you got to wait 1 or 2 seconds after each one, that's not going to be fun. So I leave remove after each stroke off. I leave it on auto for the most part. And then I just go through and paint any, and for blemish removal, typically my rule of thumb is anything that's temporary, that's not on me forever. So I will keep freckles, moles, things like that. And then there's some stuff where, like, do you keep the veins in the eyes? Like, that's something that if someone was standing next to you, they couldn't see. So if it's something that a person standing right next to you wouldn't notice, then I feel that's up to you. But I feel comfortable getting rid of that kind of stuff too. And it did not do a great job. So, yeah, so that's most of what I did. And then beyond that, I shaped the eyebrows a little, cleaned up some of the flyaway hairs, the edge of the beard, I cleaned that up. And so this is where we're starting. And so we'll go from there. Let me see, is there any still here? I was just checking to see. I don't think anybody's watching. But I guess I'll keep going for the practice. Anyway. Oh, I do have my analytics said no one was in the room at the moment. Hello. So, let's see. I guess the next step. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. So, I guess the next step would be some skin retouching. I use a filter called Image-Nomic Portraiture, and it is technically a skin smoothing type plugin. I mostly use it to blend to get the skin tone to blend better. Like, you can go way overboard with it, and I think I made the joke, it's like your high school friend on Facebook that face tunes every photo and swears it's all natural, but I tend to go for a bit more subtle, so you can kind of see, and I don't use it over the whole face. Like, this is the preview of the entire face, but so I'm going to commit to that, and then I hide the layer, and that's, I hold Option down. Whoops, that didn't do what I want. So hold Option down and then hit your layer mask button, and that hides the skin smoothing. And then I go and I get my paintbrush tool with a soft round brush, and I set it to white, and then I paint on the mask, and I find places where I feel like skin texture is a little rough, or skin tones don't blend very well, and I just kind of selectively, like, I don't want to get rid of my skin texture. I want to keep it looking real and not getting uncanny valley, but there are places where my skin's a little rougher than others, and so I just kind of find those, and it's just kind of what sticks out to me. There's no like official like paint here and don't paint there kind of thing. You just kind of just want to make sure you don't overdo it, and it's a very subtle thing. Like, if I turned it off and on, do the before and after, you can definitely see it, but it's subtle, and especially if you're zoomed out, like, it's even more subtle. But the motto I always repeat over and over again is a lot of little changes give you a big result, and so that's basically portrait retouching in a nutshell. So we got our skin smoothing taken care of, and now is the most fun part. Dodging and burning, and this is kind of like the secret to retouching, the skill that you kind of have to learn over time that kind of elevates the process. And so what I'm doing, I have created 2 curves adjustments, and basically what a curve is a contrast adjustment that you can either make things really bright, really dark. You can go way overboard. You can do crazy, like, I know that looks terrible, but just to show you what the tool does. And what I do is I make a curve that brightens things a lot. So I've got the dodge curve, which does this, and I've got a burn curve, which does this. So a really bright version of the image and a really dark version of the image. And then I have a black mask on both curve adjustments. And then I take my brush again, painting with white, and then basically what dodge and burn is meant to do is add dimension back into your face, 3-dimensionality. Because like, if you use a wide angle lens, distance is exaggerated, but it causes a lot of distortion. You look really weird, alien like. So portrait photographers typically use a 50 millimeter or longer lens. Uh, 85 and 125 are also very popular. And that makes your facial proportions much more natural. But there's a side effect. Uh, the longer the lens you use, the more compressed everything is. It kind of smushes your face in. And so you kind of lose three-dimensionality to the face. And so what dodging and burning does is adds that back. And so the way it works is you want to accentuate places that have highlights. And this is going to look real crazy at first. Oh, and the other thing, I forgot I did this. The dodging and burning, and it's very similar to makeup contouring. And I actually use makeup contouring as a bit of a guide for where I want to dodge and burn. And I don't know if photography retouchers, if they did contouring first or if makeup people did contouring first. I feel like I only heard about makeup contouring recently. But I do know that dodging and burning, like the actual process goes back to film photography. Started with landscapes actually, but so yeah, let's see. So we want to do under the eyes. And I kind of do a triangle shape. And this does not need to be super precise. And then maybe do chin area. Maybe a little bit here. And this is stuff we can always adjust later on. Okay, and then for the burn, go over the brow and down the sides, do the edge of the beard. And then along the nose. And we can turn that off for now. And I think we're done. That looks great. Stream over. Just kidding. All right, so next step is we want to blend it all in. And we do that by going into the properties of the layer mask of the layers. And we feather until it blends in. And then before, after, before, after. Oops. My computer is having some issues. So that is our result. And I might want to turn down the dodge a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good. If I were doing this on my own without an audience, I might do some very fine adjustments and get this dialed in super tight, but I think for demonstration purposes, I think that's pretty good. And so that is the face, and then I'm going to do another dodge and burn. Yes, the hat. The hat was a present from my friend Jess. She used to be my assistant for the Frogman blog. And she got it for me for my birthday. It's kind of funny. I call myself the Frogman, but I've always been... turtles are my favorite. So... Actually, I am about to do the hat. So yeah, the Frogman name doesn't actually... I when I was in high school, I discovered that I could make people laugh. And I was learning how to do different types of comedy. And I was kind of like studying comedy like you would a subject in school. And when I got to insult comedy, I always felt bad because I didn't want to insult anyone. And so what I did was I created a alternate persona called Bob the Frog. And Bob would write a newsletter every week and just make fun of people, usually like celebrities and stuff. It was not good comedy. I was 14. But it was like my first like attempt at comedy. And okay, what is going on with my computer is struggling right now. So yeah, Bob the Frog was like an alternate identity, and I passed this newsletter around to all my friends and classes. He was kind of a bully, but he only made fun of very famous celebrities that no one, like, they were never going to know that some teenager was making fun of them. So I didn't feel too bad about that. But yeah, that kind of signified my first attempt at comedy. So I kind of pay tribute to that by calling myself the Frogman. Oh man, my computer is struggling. I'm not sure the not sure I like that. I think I'm going to leave that off. It was something to try. But I think we're going to commit to these changes. And let's see where so we started here. And now we're here. And I think we're going to work on the background now. And I want the background to have a little bit stronger of a gradient. This is going to look weird for a second. Yep, I like that. And then need to add some contrast. I lost. This is why you should always name your layers. Which I did not do. Anyway, we'll just have to start over. So I'm going to go to levels. Most people would do this with curves, but my muscle memory is levels, so I use levels. So this is just balancing out the histograms, so there's just a little more contrast in the final image. I think that looks good, and I think that's about it. So this is before, this is after. Before, after. And then the edit I did in 2014, this is what that looked like. Compared to the edit in 2024. Which I'm hoping is somewhat improved. Oh, one other fun thing we can do. This was before I knew you were supposed to add a reflector in front of the person to get light in their eyes, so my eyes are a little dark. So we'll pretend that I did use a reflector and just brighten these up a little bit. And then you can also add a little highlight on the bottom. So I think my computer crashed. Or Photoshop crashed. Because I can no longer do anything. Welp. I guess that's it. I mean, all I was going to do was brighten the eyes, and that was going to be the end. So, to the folks who came to this short little stream, I appreciate it. Hold on, let me see if I can get, do I work? Hello. So, thanks for watching me retouch. I'm mostly just practicing and learning the streaming thing, so, but up until Photoshop crashed, I think that worked pretty well. So I will say goodnight, and yes, the I don't know how to say the people from Game of Thrones. I don't know how to say it. Targaryen, the dragon lady who genocided everybody. Diana, I can't even say her first name. Yes, thank you. I'm glad it went okay. And what would the stream be without a technical difficulty? Photoshop just crap in the bed. Anyway, it's nice to talk to some of you, and I hope you have a nice night. Bye.